It's me, already does it. Or for those who already know me, Rashid. And welcome to my live stream. Can you all hear me? Because the sound bar wasn't moving. So I'm going to introduce myself again. Welcome to another live stream of me, already does it, or as you already know me, Rashid. In this live stream, or better said, this class, I want to explain how incentives are used by society to shape your way of thinking. Because I'm a sociologist. So I can explain that to you because I'm specialized in it. And I'm an anthropologist also. I can also explain the culture behind it. Now, when society wants you to conform to something, there are two ways they can do it. They can come with immediate threats. They can come with immediate threats. Or they can come with tricks to get you to come along. By the way, if you have questions, let it relate to the topic. If it doesn't relate to the topic, I will not answer it. All right? For other questions that are not related to the topic, you can email me. Thank you very much. Now, about the way society puts its will on you. Direct threats are obvious. You do what we want, or else we're going to do bad things to you. That's obvious. And in such a situation, you know that the people are out of their mind. When society, however, cannot afford to use immediate threats on you, they will come with incentives. An incentive is a psychological trick to get you to agree with them. An incentive in itself is not a bad thing. If you have children and want them to eat the vegetables that you cook for them, you can use incentives, like, for example, a dessert. They will get this dessert, whether it's a cookie or whatever it is, after they eat the vegetables. So in that case, incentive is something good. Or maybe you don't want your children to eat that much sugar, so you give an incentive that you go with them to Disney World or whatever. I hope not, but you go to some amusement park with them and they stop eating that many sweets. So you use an incentive to change their way of change their behavior and the way they relate to something. Incentives is a good way to teach children and also teenagers to conform to something. Incentives are used with adults also, all the time. When you look at that advertisement, where they are advertising that fancy car, why do they put those half-naked women around the car? They're using a psychological trick to let you think that once you have this expensive car, it's going to trigger women, attract women to come near you. So this is a sexual sentiment they're using to trick men to purchase those cars. That's an incentive. Again, an incentive doesn't have to be anything bad, but incentives can also be used to trap you. In that case, it's a con. A con is an incentive used against you. I already made live streams about cons before. You can watch them. And here I explain it more in depth. A con is an incentive that's used against you. Because remember, in a con, you are tricked to agree with a position that will not benefit you in the long run. So what the con artist is doing is he puts an incentive in front of you that will trigger your interest. And by doing that, he will lure you into the position he wants you just to withhold something good from you. So society is as a con man or con woman, whatever you prefer. But I'm going to use the male pronoun con men because it's much easier for me to use. Society is like a con man. Society always wants to trick you to agree with it, but society will always hide the long-term side effects of agreeing with it. Because if society would show you all the bad effects that will come over you, if society would even show you openly that society will discard you in your 30s, you would think, come on now, I don't want to do this. No, society always comes with false promises. Society is love bombing you with future faking. Promise you all those great things if you comply. And society will give you those celebrities or those public figures who all made it. So-called self-made millionaires, successful businessmen, politicians, pastors, entertainers, Hollywood artists, sometimes even activists. Society will show you all those success stories. Society will pour it down your throat. Why is society doing this? It's an incentive they're using to trick you into complying with society's demand. And here's the thing with a societal incentive. A societal incentive has a blinding effect on you. So it's like a spell. A societal incentive will take your attention away from the bigger picture and it will center your focus on a future reward. So now your whole focus becomes the future reward. You've lost perspective. You only see the future reward. That's a spell. So societal incentives are like spells, or better said, they are spells. Spells that are enacted on you through mainstream media and also the people that collaborate with it. So a societal incentive is a spell in which you lose perspective, your mind gets tricked to focus on a future reward, and now you feel motivated to chase this future reward. And because you see examples of people that chase this reward in the past and they made it, you think I can make it too. If I just surround me with the right people, if I just have the right mindset, and if I just work hard, it will go well. And this is encouraged by the community that you're in. And because most of the people around you endorse this future reward, you decide, hey, what can be wrong? Everyone around me agrees with this. So when things go wrong, they got my back because we're all in this together. And that's the deception. You are supposed to think you're all in it together. But then when you are participating in chasing the future rewards, you realize eventually that everyone is just fleeing from stuff. You realize that when things get difficult with you, people tend to leave you. People don't want to hear about it. And then you'll realize that people are going to drop you when you are in need. And then you realize, hold on a minute, I thought we were all in this together. No. Everyone was in on it, that's true. But they're not in on it together. People can be in on something, but it doesn't mean that they're in on it together. There's a difference between being in on something and being in on it together. If you're in on it together, all of you support one another in what you're doing. If you're just in on it, all of you, so it means that each individual is there for practical reasons. So, for example, let's say there is a prison break going on. There are prisoners working together to escape. Why are they working together? Because they're all in on it. Why? Because they have to get out. But they're not all in on it together, because once they're out of the prison walls, everyone goes their own way. But if you are part of the military and you're on a mission, you're in on it together. You all are there with a common mission to achieve. So that's the difference between being in on it and being in on it together. So everyone being in on it and everyone being in on it together are two different things. I hope that you understand that by now. Look, society always comes with incentives to blur your perception. That's all society does. That is the only strength society has. If society cannot put those spells on you, society cannot get away with its violence. Just think about it. You were born as a little baby, as a tiny, helpless human being. You grew up. You need food, water, and clothes. Everyone around you needs it. But while you grow up, you realize, hold on a minute. You can't just get food, water, and clothes. You need to buy them with this thing called money. And there are people who don't want to help you out. And there are people who can't get along. And then you also realize that, hold on a minute, but aren't we all mortal creatures? Aren't we all creatures with mortal bodies? Why is it then that there is this group of people called the police or they call the government, whatever, they are entitled to kidnap you and put you in a dungeon or behind bars if you don't do what the public wants. So when the public's upset with you, instead of them confronting you and come to a solution, they send those people after you to do something to you. This is quite weird. So people don't want to communicate, but they do want to escalate. Who in their right mind wants to be part of something where you're told that others have a right to escalate on you, but you have to be at your best all the time for the group? Nobody in their right mind would agree to something like that. Yet, that's exactly what worldlings agree to every day. How is that? Because they're under a spell. That's why. That's why society needs to come with these incentives. Society needs to come with its future rewards. Because if society doesn't love bomb you with its future rewards, and the most love bombing happens between ages 15 and 23, those are the ages that you are growing, that you are developing. Those are the times where you actually are developing your sexual identity, you develop your personality, your character. All those things are being shaped during that time frame, ages 15 to 23. I'm not saying that after age 23 you can't change for the better or for the worse. Of course, it can happen. But between ages 15 and 23, you are at the end of your teenage years. You enter your early 20s. You're in the beginning of your adulthood. You are processing your youth. So you learn to stand on your own feet. You expand yourself socially. So it's during this time of development that society puts all the future faking on you. Because people in that age category are more likely to fall for it also. For example, if you promise someone that's 21 who just finished university that he can earn $3,000 if he works 40 hours a week, look, that 21-year-old just finished 4 years of studying. Okay? He began studying when he was 17. Okay? With 17 years old, he began to study. At 21, he's finished. Okay? And for the first time in his life, he gets his own large paycheck. He used to have small paychecks when he was 15, working in a grocery store when he was in high school, but now he's earning his own big check. And he thinks, I graduated college or I graduated university. I can earn $2,000 immediately. Whoa, that's great. And after 5 years, maybe go up to $4,000. And he thinks, wow, that means I'll be able to go on long holidays and all of that later on. That means I can save money to do this and that. So when someone is 21 or 22, you give them the incentive of you can earn a high wage, they will likely get excited. But if someone is 30 and you offer the same thing to them, they're going to think, 40 hours a week. That's quite long. And I'm just an employee, right? So I can't be fired anytime. Okay, but how much pressure is there at the work? How's the work culture over there? So someone that's 30, because they've seen more of life, they will ask more questions. Someone that's 21, who just graduated, and who just wants to move ahead, they'll just think, hey, it's a job, I get paid, I just have to do this. Hey, it's a reward. So I'm not saying that someone that's 21 can't think on the long term. They can, but there's certain things They simply won't notice. As simple as that. That's why when you're in your early 30s, society begins to discard you. Why is that? Because when you're in your early 30s, let's say, let me give an example to you. Let's say from the time you were 4 years old, you had to go to school. Some people do it from 3 years old. Let's say at 4 years old, as a little child, you had to go to school. Kindergarten, then so primary school, then high school. Then you either go to work or you, or you go to trade school or you go to college or university, whatever it is. Then at age 21 or 22, you've graduated and now you begin to work full time, 40 hours a week. From age 22 till age 30, you do this. That's 8 years. Those 8 years are going to exhaust you, working so much, working for so long. You don't notice it back then because, hey, you're still thinking, hey, I came from college. But before you know it, you're 30. And when you're 30, you begin to ask more questions. Okay, I've been doing this for 8 years. Okay. But now I notice that the company is looking for younger people around age 20, like I was. So now you realize that you can be fired anytime if they don't need you anymore. So now it gets through to you that they're just using you. So you begin to ask questions. And now the discard begins. Society begins to lose interest in you. As a man, it will be around age 35. As a woman, around age 30. That's to do with historical standards also, related to childbirth for women, but that's another topic. So, societal incentives are used on the youth. With youth, I mean ages 15 to 23. I'm not saying the people that are older than 23 don't belong to the youth, but to the youth in their adolescent years, ages 15 to 23. That's where most of society's incentives are focused on, because those other groups can influence the most. Someone before age 15, they're not thinking that much uh, about careers, about and all of that. Now, some do, but in general, they just want to go to high school, have fun with friends. When you're 15 and getting older, you realize, okay, I'm about to finish high school soon. I have to do something with my life. So you begin to think about the future, and instead they begin to give you those false incentives, those false uh, promises. I mean, and that is why society always makes sure that you only see the success stories. Let's say that 2,000 people studied uh, for one major. Let's say there's a major in, let me make up something, mathematical finance. I'm just making up something. Mathematical finance. I'm just making up a major for an example's sake. There is this major in mathematical um, finance, and there are 2,000 people that graduate in it. From the 2,000 people that graduated, only 20 found a job in that field. And from those 20, only 10 are making a high salary. So only 0.5% of the people that graduated, those are 10 people, have a good paying job with all types of benefits. Hundreds of other people found something in a similar field, but they're exhausted, just work from 9 to 5. That's all. Now, when those former students were informed about mathematical finance, they were shown graphs saying companies in the future want people that study this major, so choose this major. So the students who want to be certain to get a job later on to provide for families decide, I'm going to study that major. So they study the major, and after graduating the major, they realize within the past four years since you began studying, the market has changed. So what used to be relevant 4 years ago is not relevant right now. So yes, you study for this major, good for you, but it's not relevant anymore for companies today. It was 4 years ago, but not now. But then to the young people in high school who are about to go to college, they will say, study mathematical finance, because with this, you will get far in life. And it'll show you those 10 people with their success story. They will never allow you to hear all those thousands of other students who graduate in it, but they never found a job or they ended up unemployed. Society always shows you its success stories to blind you from the bigger picture that those success stories are made up often. What I mean is, the reason why someone made it so far publicly was because the public had an interest in it. The same it is with people who are those self-help gurus talking about you become a millionaire if you follow what I'm teaching you. Those folks have to live the millionaire lifestyle because they're sellouts. You following what they're teaching you, you're never going to become a millionaire. Just taking advantage of you. What I mean is, society wouldn't work if they would be open and direct about all the failures and all the disappointments. They hide all the failures, disappointments from you, and only show you the few success stories, let you think this is the norm. So, if you feel like society is trying to put a spell on you, ask yourself what they're showing you. Most people don't ask this question, what are they showing you? So incentives in general are meant to trick you, to motivate you to do something. But here's the thing about an incentive only works on a short term. When you give an incentive to something, you are suggesting a reward or a better outcome if people do something. That means that the better outcome or reward must be present. Because if you say, for example, to someone, if you come and work today, you get $100. So they come and work today in the harbor, quite heavy work. At the end of the day, you tell them, I'm sorry, but I need to take a commission fee. If you come back tomorrow and work again, you'll get your $100 for sure. Because the first $100 is a commission. They may think, okay, some people may come back tomorrow. But if tomorrow again, you tell, oh, I can't pay you now, come back tomorrow because the ATM is broken. Do you think people are going to appear on the Thursday to work? What do you think? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know. I see Don Tite said, not at all. What does the rest think? Oh, Knem said, no, sir. And she's all absolutely right. They won't come because they've been exploited for 2 days already. For 2 days, they've been breaking their back and you didn't pay them. Now, this guy, he may even get people smacking him down or reporting him to the police for it. Or people may even escalate on it. And rightfully so. So an incentive works and motivates people as long as as long as there is some reward that continues. So what society often does is it presents 2 outcomes to you. One outcome scares you, and the other outcome looks pleasant. So psychologically, you will choose for the outcome that's pleasant. But but you think that's your free choice that shows that outcome is pleasant. No, you are scared into taking another route. For example, if someone shows you a neighborhood and they show you picture of a neighborhood of people sagging their pants, drug dealing, prostitution, all of that, you're going to be horrified. And then show you another neighborhood, and in the neighborhood they see clean streets, a nice neighborhood, people smiling at one another. Of course, you were first exposed to that horrible neighborhood, and then you see this lovely neighborhood. So the trauma you got from being exposed to the images of those horrible neighborhoods are going to push you to want something better, and now they present you a lovely neighborhood. So that lovely neighborhood is what they want you to choose. That's why they scared you first with the bad one. But this thing that lovely neighborhood is not as lovely at all. It's just acting. That's how society works. Look, that is why society is so focused on people between ages 15 and 23. After age 23, you'll notice society begins to lower its interest in you. That's why there are a lot of banks out there. When you turn 25, they change your bank account from a youth account to a common account. Why? A youth account is for people that are going to school, that are studying. A common account is just a common account that an adult has. Why do they do this after age 25? Because they expect you to be settled at age 25 with a full-time job or to be stuck in a community. In a community, that's what they expect. And think about what I said. If a reward is delayed over and over again, people can lose interest. If a reward is delayed over and over again, people realize why is this reward delayed again and again. People realize, okay, we're being tricked here. But here's the thing: if you want to delay a reward over and over again, but you want people to remain interested, then there's one thing you can do: charge them. This is what scam artists often do. This is something that pagan church does often. Let me use pagan church as an example. You have this pastor who's actually a warlock in disguise, this pastor who fakes following Christ. He starts this foundation called a church foundation. And he begins to talk about the Heavenly Father, about Jesus Christ, all of that. And he begins to talk about prosperity. And then you have people becoming members of the church paying tithes and offerings. Now, he shows you his car, his beautiful wife, his smiling children. He shows you the good life of the other pastors and deacons also. So you get this incentive thinking, if I'm part of this church, I'll get the blessing of God, or I'll be more in tune with the kingdom of the Heavenly Father. So because of that, you join the church and begin to pay tithes and offerings. But then you end up going to church every Sunday for years, and the pastor is preaching the same sermon over and over again. Now, remember the example I gave of going to work in a harbor. If you go to work into a harbor for a whole night and you're not paid the first day, many people already stop going. If you go for the second night, you're not paid again, people go for the third time, they are making a fool of themselves. The fourth day, nobody will come. But with pagan church, the same thing is done, but instead of you working all night, you have to go there every Sunday. You are paying to be part of that community. That's what you're doing with tithes and you're paying to be part of the community. And because you're paying, you think, I've invested in this. So because I've invested in it, this is part of me. This is important to me. When people invest in something, it becomes important to them. So because you invested, you expect sooner or later the harvest is going to come. A farmer does not sow the seed on Monday and reap the harvest on Friday. No, he has to wait. So you're told, just come to church every Sunday, pay your tithes and offering, keep enduring, keep practicing the things we're teaching you, and things will work out. And you've been there for 10 years, and still the same message is being preached, and you haven't learned anything. How come that you stayed there for 10 years and none of the rewards that they were telling you happened? It is because you were investing all the time. If someone gives an incentive and it's actually a con or a scam, they're taking advantage of you and you never invested, then it's not really, if you didn't invest, it's not a scam, because a scam requires investment. If it's a con when you're tricked to invest on an emotional level. You get me? So if you give an incentive and you want to drain people, use an incentive, you can't use the same incentive over and over again unless you make people invest. That is why many of those false teachers want you to purchase what they're offering you. If it's something good for you, why don't they offer it for free? If it's something good for you, it will benefit you on the long run, why don't they offer it to you for free? They are not offering it to you for free because they know very well that what they're offering you is a trap. So they want you to purchase it so that you will feel connected to it. And once you feel connected to it, you are blinded from seeing when things go wrong because you are so focused on the future reward. And this is a trick that also reprobates use in daily life on their victims. Reprobates are what the world calls narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, and all of that. A reprobate, or some people say a narcissist, will love bomb you, future fake, to trick you to be focused on a future good life you'll have together. But the future good life never happens. When the honeymoon phase is over, they begin to escalate on you. And then they repeat the honeymoon phase. That's how they keep you in a cycle over and over again, and they keep draining you until they're tired of you and they dump you. The same thing society is doing. And happens in church on a regular basis. That's why things like an entrance fee or a membership fee are used to trick you into becoming part of something. Because if you just go, let's say you go to a golf club once in a while. Let's say you go to a golf, not once, but almost every weekend. Or let's say on Friday go to a golf club every every Friday. You go there to golf with other people. But what if you notice that people are gossiping over there, or people are murmuring, and there are all kinds of toxicity going on? What will you do? You stop going to the golf club. But if you paid a membership fee, you feel like you're losing. You think I've paid to be here. So if there's toxicity, okay, I'm a member too, just like them. So they should behave towards me as a member. Bonded to that golf club. So now you keep going there, even though it's not a safe place to be. Why do you keep going there? Because you're invested in it, and you also expect people to honor your investment. Here's the thing: the sunlight you get for free, fresh air you get for free, rain you get for free. The best things in life are for free. Now, the luxurious things you have to pay for obvious reasons, and there's something wrong with paying for luxurious things, but the basic things are the best things you get for free. Because the best things, you can't pay for them. Like true friendship, true love, true loyalty, you can't pay for such things. And those things you get for free. Yet common people have this backwards thinking that if something is for free, there must be a catch to it. Now, in the world, when it comes to the government and to some corporations, indeed, when they give you a product for free, there may be something with it. If it's a product. But when it comes to the world, when it comes to society, and they offer you products for free, they don't ask themselves what's going on here. But that's deal with products. But in life in general, the best things are for free. But commoners or worldly people are so defective that they are even willing to pay for things as fresh water that it should be getting for free. Fresh water should be available for free, the same way you get fresh air for free. You get fresh air for free because nobody can control it. You get from that before, the same way fresh water should be for free. Yet worldlings agree to pay a water bill besides paying rent. That's how ridiculous the attitude of commoners are. They think because they pay for something, it gets value. No, no, no. Either it's valuable or it's not valuable. If it's not valuable, no matter how much you pay for it, it doesn't mean it's going to increase in value. Now, your emotional investment will be valuable to you, but it doesn't mean that the thing you're emotionally invested in is valuable in itself. So that is the erroneous thinking of fallen mankind. And it's this erroneous thinking that Satan is using. And evildoers and bad in the world follow Satan's example. This error that just because you pay for something, it is automatically valuable. That's what Satan is using against people. And people end up paying, they end up taking jobs, they go to work to pay for things actually won't benefit them. But because they paid for it, they think, there must be something valuable over here. Or else, why did I make all that effort? Well, you made all that effort because your thinking was not correct. And the people that took your money all the time, they knew your thinking wasn't correct. They were just exploiting your error. So for people to admit this and to experience this sorrow of what happened to them is quite deep, it's quite intense. So people don't want to face this. And that is what keeps a lot of people trapped because they don't want to admit they've been taken advantage of. So once they realize that, okay, the rewards are staying out, if they invest it, it'll keep on going, going, going. And that's how a lot of people become radicalized and they become extremists. That's how a lot of people become extremists because they've invested in something, whether it's on a financial level or on a mental, emotional level, they invest in something for long. And if they realize that they were just taking advantage of, it's going to be quite painful. But it's better for them to face the harsh reality, to mourn and grieve about what happened to them, because by doing that, they'll process it. By processing it, they are delivered from it. But a lot of people, they don't want to hear about this. They want to think about it. So they keep on persisting in the thing they've invested in. They become extremists. If they even hear anything contrary to what they invest in, they'll explode. People become delusional in that way. Just look at the United States of America. What happened since 2016 with the previous president, and also now with the current president. Look what's going on in the world now with those measures taken against the crisis going on. You already know which measures I'm talking about. I don't have to repeat them here on YouTube because I want to get in trouble with the algorithm of YouTube over here. So understand the best thing to do when you notice that rewards are not coming is ask yourself, why is this reward so important to me? Okay, so if this reward is so important to me, is there any other way to get this reward? Then this way. Oh, if there's another way, why am I still doing it this way? Oh, because that's what I was told. Why we keep holding on to what I was told? Okay, I need to repent from this. That's how you need to be. Self-reflect. Worldlings, most of the time, they hate self-reflection. They run away from it. And that's why once they're tricked by incentives, it's very hard for them to get out of that trap. What happens is people hand over their natural leverage, even their natural discernment, over to a cult leader or to a group. And once you've done that, it may take years for that to be reversed. Once you hand over your discernment and your natural intellect to a cult leader or to a group, it will take years before you realize that you've been taken advantage of, and it will take years to process it and get out of it. Some people never recover from it. With the powerful spirit, you can recover quickly, but you get what I'm saying here. That is the backwards thinking. Follow mankind things just because they pay for something, they have a leverage over anyone else. That's how cults operate. You pay to be a member. That means others are excluded. Others are excluded because they're not paying. You are paying, so it means you're special. That's what worldly people are looking for, to be relevant. If you pay for something, you become relevant within the group you've paid to be a member of. So because you've paid, you gain the privilege to open your mouth because you're a member. You invest in it. If you didn't pay and you disagree, people will ask, okay, but who asked for your opinion? But if you pay, you can say, I don't care if you ask my opinion. I paid, so I have a right to open my mouth. People want to be relevant, and that's good that people want to be relevant. But they think that they can secure their relevancy by paying. Fallen mankind thinks that they can secure their relevancy by paying. And it's this trick that the world or better society is using on you over and over again. And it's this thinking that we need to be delivered from as believers. So, have you ever seen people? You used to know them years ago. They were open-minded towards you, they were friendly, but today you see them, they're quite extreme, they're quite avoidant. Have you ever encountered such people that they used to be a bit open-minded, but now they're quite kind of stressed out, angry, resentful, close-minded? Have you encountered people that went through this change for the worse? Let me know in the live chat. Yes, it's because those people have invested, but the rewards are not coming. So now they're making excuses why the rewards are not coming, and now those excuses are weighing them down right now. Now look, if you make people pay for what you offer them, you'll get followers that will remain for a long time. But you better have something to distract them with, because if the moment the rewards stay out and it becomes too obvious to them that they've taken advantage of, they will explode on you. That's why cults always have scapegoats that they can blame for when things go wrong. Society works the same way. Whether it's the homeless people or the migrants or the Muslims or the blacks or the Jews or whatever, society always has scapegoats as outlets for anger and frustration, so that people won't see that society itself is a big hoax. Look, when you offer something for free and it's a valuable thing and people decline it, it'll be all on them. You get me? Because they should have looked better into what you were offering them. But if you offer something to someone and you tell them you have to pay for it, if they pay for it, and it doesn't work out, it will still be on them. But at the same time, it's also on you because you asked investment from them. So if it doesn't work out, they rightfully are upset with you. Even if what you were selling them was nonsense, the fact you took their payment means that you are not trapped with them. And that's why cult members, as well as society itself, always want scapegoats to put the blame on. So that's why Christ told us, freely have you received, freely you should give. Why? Because here's the thing. When you share the good news and knowledge with other people, people need to give up their own wrong expectations for it to work. But a lot of people, they say they are giving up their own expectations, but they're not. Of course, it's not going to work out for them. But if for example, if you teach people about walking by faith and they don't give up their wrong expectations, of course, walk by faith is going to work for you if you don't renew your mind. But those people are going to be disappointed. They want to blame you, saying you lied to me. What you told me was bullshit. But here's the thing: they have sabotaged themselves because they didn't obey what God told them to do. So if they paid you to get knowledge, they can expect you to make it work for them. But you cannot make it work for them because they're sabotaged themselves. When you have customers that sabotage themselves, you become the victim of those customers. Because even if what you offer them works, they will sabotage themselves and blame it on you. Narcissists love to do this, sabotage themselves and look for someone else to blame for it. So if someone is paying you, they can sabotage themselves and then blame you for it. And because they paid you, you're stuck with their anger. That's why Christ told us, freely if you receive, freely you shall give. Now, you can't charge people when you have a business and you do non-essential things like selling art, selling music, and all of that. You can charge people for that, but for the basic things for human life, you give it for free. Haven't you noticed that all those pagan churches where people pay tithes and offerings always have scapegoats, people that eventually are blamed for stuff? Haven't you noticed that in every corporation almost there is some fall guy or fall girl that gets fired and blamed for stuff? It's because They don't want to see through the hoax, which is society. Now, people when people pay you to invest in a good goal, that can also be a good thing. When people pay to be part of something, it can motivate them to do their best. So asking for payment from people doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can motivate people for the better. But that depends on the quality of the individual. If the individual is a narcissist, they will pay you just to later blame you. But if they are good-minded people, they will pay you and they'll realize, okay, I'm paying you as an investment, but I'll do my best too. And someone in the right mind will also invest in themselves. Someone in the right mind will not rely only on you to work for them. Someone in the right mind will pay you to support you while they also support themselves. A narcissist will pay you and expect you to do everything, and they also demand the right to escalate on you when it doesn't work out. So that's how simple it is. So asking for payment for something depends on what you're offering, and it depends on the quality of the people. So the reason I explain this is to explain to you how society uses incentives on you. Now, incentives in themselves are not wrong. Incentives can be a good thing that motivates you in the right context. Think about it as a knife. You can use a knife to cut vegetables and meat and cook dinner, like I just did. And I already ate dinner. You can also pick up a knife and escalate on someone, stabbing them and killing them. Is a knife evil or good? No, the knife is just a knife. It's a tool. It depends on the one that uses the tool, what happens. The same is with incentives. Incentives can be good, but it also can be destructive. Incentives used against you are cons. So, how do you see through cons? I already explained it. Check the bigger picture. Ask yourself two questions. Is this outcome going to glorify the Heavenly Father? Ask yourself that question. The second question is this outcome going to contribute to God's plan for my life? Ask yourself those two questions. If you can't answer both questions with a yes, then likely that thing is not meant for you. As simple as that. All right. We're reaching the end of this live stream. Thanks for listening. I'll give you 1 minute to ask questions now. So, okay. And Chuba, I'm about to contact you on WhatsApp for immediately after I close on this live stream. So keep your phone in hand because I'm going to reach out to you. So be ready for that. If I don't get any question within 1 minute, I'll close down the live stream. If you have to go now, you can go. Thanks for being here and listening. Be blessed. Someone had a question. What if people stare at you? I made a video about that. Please watch. Please go through my videos and check it out. All right. All right. I haven't received any questions. Thank you all for being here. Keep on agreeing with Christ. Be at peace, and I'll see you next time.